Good afternoon and welcome here to Platt Arena. My name is Bray Snyder, joined by my co-host Justin Ayers. Good to be with you, Justin. And today, Grace College Lancers visiting the Huntington Foresters here in Platt Arena. What can you tell us about the matchup today?
No, yeah, it's just like I was talking to you a few minutes ago. Grace really likes their offense. Huntington really likes their defense. Grace likes to run up and score. Huntington likes to take their time. So watching Grace with the ball is going to be a really key just input on how this game's going to turn out.
Yeah, now the Foresters coming off a really not a great loss to Taylor on Wednesday. In that game, only scoring 2 points in the first 8 minutes of the third quarter. Coming out strong and really not finishing out that game well. And Brooks Sugg, of course, a fantastic scorer for the Lancers. How do you think that matchup's going to be tonight, Justin?
Yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting because Huntington's came off of a couple tough losses, not only to Taylor, but to, I believe, a couple other teams ranked and receiving votes. I think really it's going to be a big game for the leaders to step up, like Matt Reeker and Brooke Saylor, and all of them to just kind of like step up and lead the younger groups and lead against, like you said, Brooke Suggs, great scorer, great shooter from Grace. So they're going to have to slow her down if they want a chance to win this game.
Yeah. Of course, Dan Davis, Grace head coach in his first season. Coach Lori Kohler in her 33rd. Should be a good matchup, as always, here on FDN Sports for some Crossroads League action. Don't go anywhere because after prayer and national anthem, we'll be back with starters. You won't want to miss it.
What does it mean to impact your community? As a broadcast media major at Huntington University, you'll explore that question and uncover the heart of storytelling. Tell real-life stories of the world around you from day one and uncover why it matters to the campus, community, and beyond. It could be in our live TV studio through our award-winning newscast, broadcasting home athletic events, or running HU's very own radio station. You'll have the opportunity to use industry-standard equipment from 4K cameras to instant replay to better prepare you for a future career. In addition to foundational courses, you'll have the chance to specialize in church media, corporate media, news, or marketing and sales. Or spend your last summer interning in one of America's largest cities, Phoenix, Arizona. In this one-of-a-kind opportunity, you'll have a home base at Huntington University's Arizona Center for Digital Media as you launch into professional opportunities catered toward your area of interest and enjoy the sunshine in the process. Your professional network begins as soon as you become a Forester. Broadcast media majors at HU have a long-standing history of success in the job market. You'll be connected with alumni who have gone before you, not to mention all of your professors have industry experience. You've been given a gift. Why not use it to impact your world for Christ? Huntington University Broadcast Media. Real life stories, real world experiences. Impact your community.
I am Dr. Fred Miller. I am the Department Chair of Kinesiology and also an exercise science professor at Huntington University. Huntington University is unique as far as they get a lot of one-on-one attention from the professor. You know, helping them learn the information or helping them minister a test, whereas some universities you don't get that one-on-one from the professors. One of our themes focuses is on being a Christian and trying to be a good role model for others. We're here, we really care about the student and want to see that student succeed, not just preparing them for their future career, but also we want to prepare them to be a servant for God. Huntington University, we have a lot of equipment that students will get an opportunity to use and experience. Some of the equipment we have include a bod pod, which is very famous. We also have other interesting equipment that students will get to use. That equipment includes a VO2 Max, a metabolic cart system. There's also a lot of equipment including other health measures. Students will get plenty of opportunity to learn how to use all this equipment, and they will get administering it to other students. Oftentimes, students who get an undergraduate degree in exercise science will go on to physical therapy school, or even they will go on to physician assistant school. And then also another common career path for students is to become a strength conditioning specialist and mainly work with athletes. Exercise science is a degree where students will gain a lot of knowledge about health, but having someone that has the knowledge and experience to help an individual to get fit, to get healthy is important. And students at Huntington University, they learn about knowledge that's credible and that's important for students to have so they can help these individuals.
So Powder Puff football is 2 teams divided up by floors, and then they all have flags, so it's just a flag football game. And so we have the 2 end zones, and it's just like a regular game. We usually play 2 20-minute halves, and it's just a good time for everybody to get some football in since we don't have a football team here as a sport.
Powder Puff to me is something that actually opened me up at Huntington.
And for me, just as a freshman, obviously, like I get to know all the different girls on my floor, and we all grow closer together.
Powder Puff just means a lot of unity between the girls on the floor and just provided a lot of good fun between all the other girls on campus as well.
We are back here inside Platt Arena getting ready for tip-off here on FDN Sports. Grace College Lancers visiting Huntington Foresters. Just wanted to give us starters real quick for the Lancers.
Yeah, for Grace, we have number 4, Stoll, number 13, Hostetler, 20, Drake, 21, the three-point shooting stud, Brooks Sugg, and then number 50, Warble.
And on the floor for the Foresters, we are expecting number 4, Maddie Reeker, number 5, Aaron Moore, number 12, Fryman, number 20, Sam Hamill, number 32, Brooks Saylor. We'll see those starters in just a second, but that is who we see on the bench. Again, Justin, we were talking about that matchup. Brooks Sugg has come off some fantastic games, some absolutely fantastic games. Crossroads League Player of the Week a few times. What do you think the Foresters are going to have to do tonight specifically to win this game?
Yeah, it's definitely a tough one to game plan around when you have somebody who's so deadly from the three-point line, currently shooting a little over a third of her shots, making it through the bucket. When I look at things, how it's going to play out, I think they got to control possession. The more they have the ball in their hands, the more they can slow down the Grace's offense. Because it's not just Brooks Sugg who's the great three-point shooter, because they also have a couple other studs who they like to rely on when they're shooting. And then they have a couple other studs who start for them who are good at rebounding. So they have the ability to get down the court, throw up a three, and make it, and not waste a whole lot of time doing it. And if you make silly mistakes and aren't using your time wisely, you could see yourself fall behind 9 points in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, I mean, Brooks Sugg right now averaging 18.2 a game. Victoria Drake, another big component of this offense, averaging 12.8. The Foresters as well, very balanced scoring, but Sam Hamill right now leading the charge, 16.5 per game. Sarah Fryman, 15.2. And then Maddie Reeker right at that 12 points per game mark. So you mentioned a lot of good offense on both sides of the ball. Should have a fun matchup today here on FDN Sports. Getting ready for tip-off. For the Lancers will be Kaylee Warble, and of course for your Foresters, Brooks Saylor. Tip underway, and Foresters control it. Ball back to Sam Handel, and we are underway. Samuel getting set up. The Lancers starting off the game in 2-3 defense, trying to maybe slow down this attack. Early, Maddie Reeker looking inside, finds Fryman, looking Hamill with the backdoor cut, gets it up with a little bit of body, and it's good for the first points. Quickly, the Lancers coming the other way, though. Brooks Sugg, ball already on the right side. Moore matched up against her, kick out far side, ball swung top of the key. Stolen away, and Hamill coming the other way. Looking for Sailor inside, nice dump off pass. 4 easy points for the Foresters.
Yeah, you can see already Grace just attacking, ran right down the court, trying to find an open person along the 3. That's something Grace is going to have to be careful of, because if they keep moving the ball so fast, they're going to make some mistakes like they just did, have the ball stolen.
And again, Brooks Sugg just a little bit shorter going up against Aaron Moore, turning it over. Now Hamill coming the other way, pushing up to Maddie Reeker. Looking down, but will pull the ball back up top of the key. That's one of the big things that we've seen from the Foresters. When they get off to a quick start, they're really deadly in that first quarter. Maddie Reeker far side looking into Fryman again, looking for that dump down pass. Left hand goes up short, and ball rebounded by the Lancers coming the other way. Kiana Stoll controlling the ball for the Lancers. Fryman will be up against her. Now Veronica Drake coming around the other side. It'll be a fun matchup. Really just running around the arc right now, trying to get the ball back into Sugg's hand.
Really looking for that 3-point shot. There it is.
And it's up, no good off the start. Stoll pulling the trigger, plenty of time on the shot clock, and now Hamill coming the other way for the Foresters.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see, because they're averaging about 27 3-pointers a game right now compared to Huntington's 17. So there's just one. I'm interested to see how many of those they end up throwing up just here in the first quarter.
Well, in last game especially, Foresters did not shoot well from 3. Brooke Saylor, though, getting it inside. The Foresters 6 points in the paint to start off the game.
Attacking inside, not trying to leave it up to chance yet for their 3-pointer. Going to wait on it till they really need to rely on it.
And this will be what's interesting. Of course, Brooke Sugg going up against Aaron Moore for a big part of this right now. Stoll almost dropping it in the corner, working against Fryman. One-on-one action. Ball's going to be kicked out to Drake. 13 on the shot clock. Plenty of time for the Lancers. Bit of a high pick and roll. Drake inside. Right hand up and good. Grace Lancers on the board. And once again, we see the press in full effect. Taylor tried a bit of the same thing against the Foresters, and you got to wonder if Coach Dan Davis really just trying to pressure the Foresters again into early turnovers like we saw yesterday.
Yeah, something that's worth noting is that this coach is not afraid to go into his bench very early on. So they can afford to kind of run up and put a little more pressure on and be a little more intense, because they're able to rely on a little bit of depth they have at each position.
Offensive rebound, kick out 3 from Maddie Reeker, no good, and now Sugg coming the other way. Saylor a little bit slower match up against her, but now Sugg having to pull the ball back out. Good transition defense from the Foresters. Stoll on the far side. Now Hot Stetler going to bring the ball back up to the top of the key, looking inside. Bit of miscommunication from the Lancers early, really not able to get a good offensive setup. Good defense from the Foresters. Now Sugg coming off of a delayed double screen, looking for something. Just good defense from the Foresters. Now a long 3 up, no good. Brick and board eventually pulled down by Saylor.
Something Grace needs to be careful of is you got to take smart threes. You can't just throw the ball up like that. And something that Foresters are doing well is they are calm. You can see there's no rush at all. I mean, Riekert normally plays with a little bit of intensity, but like outside of her, all of them just calm, knowing exactly where they need to be, and then they're just finding points like that right in the paint.
A smooth pass, drops it right inside, and once again, the passing game for the Foresters leading to 8 points in the paint early. 6:25 to go here in the first quarter. Layup no good. And once again, quick shot for the Lancers, and the Foresters going the other way. Hamill, top of the key. Again, this 2-3 zone, trying to slow down the Foresters, but really picking apart inside. More on the left wing, looking inside to Fryman. That's the first turnover of the game for the Foresters. And now Lancers outletting quick to Sugg. I wonder if he's going to try that quick pull-up 3. Good defense from Moore to stop it. And a travel will be called against Sugg. And that'll bring our first substitutions of the game. Checking in, number 24, Lexi Minix. Number 23, Pam Miller for the Lancers. So what a good job early for the Foresters on defense, Justin.
Another thing to be noted, though, is Grace isn't passing the ball all that much. They're just kind of running down and trying to find an open shot individually. Whereas if you look at the Foresters so far, they're moving and finding the person under the basket.
Definitely true, and once again, struggling to get up a little bit. We saw that a little bit against the Taylor game on Wednesday, but finding their stride, getting back up again. Sam Hamill left side, 2 assists already for her. Aaron Moore on the right wing. They're looking into Sarah Fryman for that dump down pass. They get it again. Brooke Saylor inside, missed. Grabs the board though. Loose ball, kick out Maddie Reeker. Fresh shot clock, and even with a missed puppy inside, I mean, still get another possession out of it.
You can tell they're really attacking inside, because the last couple possessions, Riekert's been wide open like there on the arc, and they've been kind of just waiting on that shot, and that's just not necessarily taking it and let them work in the inside right now.
And that'll be a foul against Brooke Sugg inside. Sam Hamill on that weak side, pulling up a rebound. Really good positioning by her. The Lancers really overextending onto the strong side of the ball, leaving Hamill wide open for a rebound. 8-2 your score. Foresters in the lead, 5:20 to go in the first quarter. Sarah Fryman puts the ball on the ground, a little pull-up jumper, no good. Didn't get her feet set, but kick back out to Maddie Reeker. Lancers defense right now really looking a little disorganized inside. Ball kicked back out. Oh.
Really just running wild.
The ball tipped away from Saylor inside on the drive. 19 on the shot clock, plenty of time. About halfway through this first period, and 8-2 Foresters in the lead, really picking apart this zone. You got to wonder if Coach Dan Davis is going to stay here with the zone in the second quarter through the game. Sam Hamill up inside.
What a move.
Back of the rim and gets it to drop. Lancers coming the other way. Hostetler kicking out right side to Stoll, running off a few screens, looking for that three ball, not there. Finally get the ball to Sugg on the left side. Inside, right hand, off the glass, finds her first 2 points of the game. Now the Foresters really trying to push transition again quick, maybe try to get a little more momentum in their favor after slowing down for a few possessions. This 2-3 really starting to pop out pretty high. Aaron Moore, left wing. Looking inside, Sarah Fryman trying to turn a corner. And another foul call going to be called, this time against number 23, Pam Miller. 2 quick fouls on the Lancers, and it'll be Foresters' ball underneath their own bucket.
Yeah, I know we're on defense right now for the Lancers, but something worth watching is whenever somebody has the ball for them, they're outside the arc until they charge in and try and drive on the inside like Sugg did right there.
The Foresters, the
Foresters are all on the inside of the arc compared to where Lancers are all on the outside of the arc.
Exactly. In which, if the Lancers were, hitting 3 or 4 threes early in the game, that might be all right, but so far not able to find the bottom of the net and beyond the arc. Now Lancers ball after 3 seconds in the lane. Hostetler coming the other way. Brooke Sugg coming off the screen, left wing, coming up to get the ball. The Foresters have their eyes tight on her. Stoll pushing inside, kick out 3, defensive breakdown. Not able to find the bottom of the net, another big board for Brooke Saylor. Opportunities there for the Lancers, Justin, just not able to capitalize early.
I will say that's something, though, that if they can keep working on that, the three-pointer will come. If they keep getting open looks like that, it's going to be dangerous for the Foresters.
Brooke Saylor kick out, Maddie Reeker left side. There's her first. 13-4 Foresters, almost with a 10-point lead. Brooke Sugg coming the other way quick, and Maddie Reeker on her. Good defense, nice behind-the-back move. Nice drop inside, ball kicked back out. Once again, Lancers not able to get clean passes all the way around. Hostetler coming off the screen, left side, gets inside the lane. Nice dump-off pass, bobbled, and that'll be a double dribble. A little bit of a loose ball, I guess, but referees will say she had possession and then put the ball on the ground again.
Almost took out our cameraman over there into the basket.
Our cameraman down there doing a fantastic job. Isaac Hannigan, great crew today. Justin Coleman directing, Paige Schreiber producing. Andrew Weisheit on camera as well. Should be a fun broadcast for you today. Checking in for the Foresters, though, for the first time this game, and has been having a good year. Number 11, Erica Zook.
Yeah, I really think she could be key to this matchup if the Foresters do find themselves behind in the 3. Currently, she's shooting about 50% from the beyond the arc with, I think she's 9 for 18.
Well, more than that, had a 30-point game only a few weeks ago, and averaging 6 points per game, but definitely a strong presence offensively. Good look inside, Sam Hamill 3 up, and that, layup up. An assist for the freshman, sophomore pulling down the bucket. Brooke Sugg trying to come the other way with the Lancers quick. Driving inside, there's a little look for her. Right hander will drop. I think that's what the Lancers are looking for, Justin. Zook inbounding, Maddie Reeker left side. Plenty of time for the Foresters. This Lancer press starting to extend up a little bit. Zook pulling up the ball, and Hamill looking for it downside. They're going to call her, dragging her back foot. Be the second turnover for the Foresters early, and not able to capitalize on what looked like a promising possession.
Now I'll be interested to see here, Grace, able to control their ball. Are they still going to push the pace, or are they going to keep holding back? There's still, everybody's lined up beyond the arc now until the ball gets up there.
On the far side, Brooke Sugg 3 up, no good, hitting back rim. Maddie Reeker, good block out, and that'll be an easy foul call over the back on Stoll. Already the Foresters 2 fouls away from being in the bonus. Maddie Reeker doing a fantastic job leading this team early, but great scoring all the way around. Erica Zook now ball back up, looking to break this press. Saylor almost turning over the ball, but Foresters come up with it. Now Sam Hamill setting up the offense, 20 on the shot clock, plenty of time. Zook on the right side, this Lancer 2-3 zone, looking to extend out to that 3-point arc a little bit more. Reeker picking up her ball, but no pressure, so plenty of time for her. Kick out weak side, Maddie Reeker pulls it down, looking inside. 5 on the shot clock, Fryman goes right hand inside. No good, but an easy putback for Brooke Saylor, finds the bottom of the net.
See, they're taking their time.
You mentioned that, getting down to 5 seconds on the shot clock, just really methodical. And another quick shot from the Lancers as we talk about the speed for the Foresters. Reeker getting the ball off the Lancers. Smart play from her.
Something that's worth noting, the Lancers have shot they've shot 5 3-pointers so far, and every one of those has either been heavily contested or off balance. They had the one that Sugg shot earlier that was about to go in, and that was the one where she was wide open. Yet they're still just running down the court. You have to wonder if they're a little intimidated right now since the Foresters coming in with the number 24 ranking, while Grace is number 3 in the conference still without any votes.
Yeah, you mentioned that this Forester squad having some great games early in their season, thinking about wins like the Indiana Tech win by 20 points, beating St. Francis.
They topped 100 3 times so far this season, out of 13 games they played.
Lancers coming quick down the court. Sugg inside Veronica Drake, kick back out. Good passing from the Lancers. They again, though, underneath the bucket, kick the ball back out. Now Sugg open for 3 on the right side. Still not able to find the bottom. And a travel foul call on Fryman. It looked like maybe she and Brooke Saylor both held the ball for just a moment. That'll be a travel call. Third turnover for the Foresters, and this time going to give the Lancers a fresh possession underneath the bucket.
Yeah. What were you saying?
I was just going to say Veronica Drake so far, pretty quiet, but she's generally one of the star players on this team here in Platt Arena.
Yeah, something that's also worth noting is that, like, they're struggling on the inside. Grace is struggling a little on the inside, and the Foresters are exceeding. And yet, where is Grace's big guy? Like, she's off. The one who has Warble, she's got over 100 rebounds so far. Well, right now, Grace is losing in the rebounds, and she's coming in right now, and that's where a huge deficit's been performed for Grace. It's just they're losing on the inside. And now with a little bit of height on the floor, I'll be interested to see if anything changes.
The Foresters 11 rebounds to the Lancers 2. A lot of those defensive, but I mean also Lancers really not inside. Going up there, Warble off the side of the backboard. Foresters pulling down the ball. A little clumsy at first, but get possession. Now Maddie Reeker with no advantage. Pull the ball back out. Sam Hamill now top of key. Coach Kohler wants the Foresters to hold for what won't be the last shot probably, but will be close to the end, about an 8-second difference between shot clock and game clock. Hamill plenty of time. And she'll go now, getting inside to Sarah Fryman. Hitting the deck, no foul called, so Lancers coming the other way. 10 seconds on the game clock. Veronica Drake inside looking for the kick out. Left corner bucket, no good. Board pulled down eventually by Saylor. And looking up, ball will go out of bounds. That will not officially go down as a turnover, and that is how we will end the first quarter. Score 17-6. Foresters in the lead. Lancers trying to make a comeback. We'll be back here in just a moment for more coverage here inside Platt Arena. We are back here inside Platt Arena. Score 17-6. Second quarter about to get underway. And Justin, so far, the Foresters really pulling out in the first quarter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something I was just talking to you about this. I'm just so surprised that it's always smart to play aggressively, but how aggressive Grace is playing is a little dangerous because you look at that last position. They had 14 seconds to set up a good shot for at least one of their 3 stud three-point shooters. And instead, they just ran down and threw it up, with giving the Foresters a potential chance with 6 seconds left to throw something in the basket.
Offensive rebound for the Lancers, hitting the deck. And I believe they'll say Brooke Saylor was out of bounds. No foul called, I believe, as the Lancers will retain possession. Fresh shot clock, and we will see for the first time today Casey Morton checking in. Brooke Saylor catching a break for the first time this game, coming off to a round of applause from the Forsters. And again, Casey Morton now will be matching up against Kaylee Warble, the sophomore.
See, now with a three-point shooting team like Grace, I'll be interested to see if they can take advantage of the height disadvantage that the Forsters are facing now on the inside. Warble has got a few inches on Morton, so we'll see how she's able to compete with her.
Hostetler dancing around a little bit inside. Lancers going up inside the paint, not able to find the bottom of the net though. Maddie Reeker coming up with the board, and I mean, so far early, the Forsters just getting out of a turnover there, telling Maddie Reeker to settle down. But what I was saying is that, I mean, really the Forsters are doing a great job of pulling down boards, and Lancers is not able to hit the bottom of the net. You know, you get that offensive rebound, you get a fresh shot clock essentially, and then still not able to capitalize. Maddie Reeker beating out 3 Lancers for the ball. Sam Hamill top of key now. That 2-3 extending out a little bit. Definitely understand why. Casey Morton looking inside Sarah Fryman. Nice drop down, right hand finish, and it's good. Another point, and so far, Forsters dominating the paint, Justin.
And you look at Warble, who normally averages about 3 rebounds a quarter, if not more, and she's got 0 so far.
Drake looking inside to Warble again, goes up right hand, just as you say it, finds the bottom of the net. Maybe that's what the Lancers need to get a little momentum going. 19-8, 8:50 to go in the second quarter. Ball pushed up ahead against Fryman.
While that matchup's set up, they got to take advantage of it. They got to take advantage of the height. I know that they really love to be aggressive and shoot that three-pointer, but sometimes you got to be a little more patient.
Hamill looking inside, kick out Maddie Reeker, left corner, no good. Reeker now 1 of 2. Oh, and almost a travel call, able to get the ball out. Now Lancers coming the other way. Warble inside against Morton, losing the ball. Good no call, and that'll be Forster possession. And checking in for the Forsters, number 22, Sarah Doy, has also had some fantastic games this year. Doy herself averaging 5.7. We mentioned that Zook averaging just under 6 points. Kohler talking things over with the official for a moment.
Still running the press right now. I'll be interested to see if that ever catches the Forsters off guard. There, they shut it down.
I believe Coach Kohler, as I was just listening there for a moment, trying to get Coach Dan Davis off the floor. Maddie Reeker, that really past few possessions in the first quarter and the second quarter, found herself in the corner with Coach Davis standing on the court near her. Still standing on the court in the corner. See what the Forsters are able to do. That is a spot that Maddie Reeker likes to hit from. Sarah Doyle left side, getting the ball in her hands. Veronica Drake doing a much better job on defense, matching up against Saylor, really trying to keep that short corner from being there. Maddie Reeker, no good. Tip back out. Lancers pulling down the ball, going the other way. Hostetler weaving in and out. Finding herself all the way in the paint. Ball taken away by Maddie Reeker, looking to push transition. No numbers, though. She'll slow it back down. And once again, the Forsters come up with another big stop.
Grace has yet to take more than 10 seconds of their shot clock time away from, and just try and make something out of each possession.
Going inside, a bit of miscommunication, and we actually talking about how well they were doing. Coach Kohler going to get a timeout off. 30-second, we'll stay here, but going ahead, what you were saying about the Forsters there.
I mean, well, I was talking about Grace and just how they are not taking their time. And you look at the Forsters, out of their last 5 possessions, they had a couple where they were getting down to the bottom of the shot clock, whereas Grace has yet to see it hit the teens. And you just got to wonder just where this 0 for, I think, 9 now, 3-point for, these 0 for 9 3-point shots, they just got to take their time to set something up because they have the talent to make it. But when you're averaging 79 points a game right now and you're sitting halfway through the second quarter with 8, you've got to wonder and you got to change something up.
Well, a big part of this Lancers offense we mentioned is that 3-point percentage, and here's something you'll always hear repeated in basketball. Good shooters, when they're missing, what do they keep doing? You keep shooting. If you're 0 for 8, you keep shooting. 0 for 9, you keep shooting. 0 for 10, you're still going to keep shooting. Now, for the Lancers right now, that 11-point deficit, 19-8, I mean, that looks pretty big at the moment, but we mentioned at any point, especially Brooke Sugg, could get hot. Really, any of these Lancers can start finding the bottom of the net, and you got to, if you're the Foresters, you really got to worry about that, because if they become streaky, that 11-point lead can quickly become erased.
I mean, that's what I was talking about before the game with you. It takes 3 blown possessions and 3 quick 3-pointers, and you could see this game change its momentum in the change of 30 seconds.
Exactly. Especially with how quick the Lancers have been going through the possessions. Brooke Saylor, though, back on the block, working against Veronica Drake inside, and especially Drake on offense and defense, really trying to be physical. You see that going into Maddie Reeker a little bit, picking up a foul. Doing a very good job on defense as well. I mean, you saw the Foresters really early Justin decimating the Lancer defense, getting inside to that short corner and easy layups. Veronica Drake doing a much better job, especially, and Kaylee Warble as well.
Just overall, Forsters still just look so calm. And with how aggressive Grace is being, you'd think they'd be a lot more tired than they are, but they're still just calmly just letting them run at them and then blocking them right off.
Setting back up offensively again for the Lancers. We talked about letting a little bit of time run off the clock. Kick out, Veronica Drake pulling it up, 3 for her, unguarded, and just as we talked about, finding the bottom of the net, gets her first 3 points of the game.
Something that's worth noting, she had a solid 2 seconds to set herself, wind up, and just let that ball go. And if they can do that more and more throughout this game, they've got a shot to keep in it.
And earlier this game, it seemed like really at all positions, the Foresters were matching up. There were only really 1 or 2 blown defensive assignments, but just as you mentioned there, anybody can hit an open 3, and finding the board, Moore on the other side, not Moorton, coming with another 3 to match, and Lancers coming back the other way. But again, you got to wonder if that momentum is really going to pick up for the Lancers here after finding the bottom from beyond the arc.
This possession is huge. Another 3 here could really spark something.
Outside, Sarah Doy, the freshman, matching up. Right wing, the Lancers, I think, really looking for Veronica Drake again. Going to have her come up top of the key. 8 seconds. Lancers really holding this possession. Back inside to Hostetler. Warble inside, going up, blocked by Brooke Saylor. Comes up with the ball. A big stop for the Foresters. Maddie Reeker, plenty of time. The defense backing off her, not even trying to put high pressure up. Now Aaron Moore swinging the ball to Sarah Doy. Really looking to Maddie Reeker in that corner. Doy inside. Easy goes up, blows the layup though. A little bit of contact from behind and just missing the layup. A good drive though from the freshman. Hostetler outside to Drake. Defended by Moore. There'll be a long 2 up and good. Suggs starting to pick up and get the Lancers offense a little bit more energized. Reeker coming down, dropping back to Moore. Really the big part of this Lancer press is more than anything just trying to slow down the Foresters. So far though, hasn't done too much. I mean, we mentioned only 3 turnovers for the Foresters so far.
You still look at all of Grace's players right now. They are moving all over the place. When you look at the Foresters on defense, I mean, the 3 on the inside just didn't even budge because they were counting on the ball to just be thrown around on the outside. I mean, look, you can see 5 is just kind of walking around, just guarding 20, and they're not even utilizing Drake on offense right now. They're just focusing on a couple players.
So we'll have a foul under the bucket. This will be on Brooke Saylor. Both teams should now be in the bonus from here on out after this foul for the Lancers. Will not be shooting here, but on the next point they will.
Something to point out, Brooke Saylor having one heck of a game, already at 8 points. Oh no, she just notched a double-double already. 12 rebounds, 10 points.
That's what's crazy is inside. I mean, she has just been dominant. Another foul going to be called here. Right as the ball is inbound, it'll be Saylor's second. So Kohler going to sub her out, bring Fryman in. You know, just trying not to pick up that 3rd foul, Justin.
Especially when she's playing so well.
Sugg, right wing, checking back into the game for the Lancers. Trying to get herself going, picking up the ball though, and gets back up to Stoll. Coach Dan Davis really going through his bench, but now getting back to starters. Inside to Warble, good defense from the Foresters. Warble going up, gets her rebound. Right hand, fouled by Casey Morton. Will find herself at the line. Foresters really doing a good job that possession of swarming to the ball, but Warble just coming back down with the ball and able to go up strong and finish.
You look at the score for Grace right now, and they haven't been held under 70 points in about a couple weeks. And you look at, they've been held under 70 points once over the last month. And currently on pace to score about a little under 40 points.
We're talking about some big wins like the 110-50 win against Great Lakes, the 102-59 win against Silver Lakes. I mean, they've had some fantastic offensive producing games. Hamill going down, though. 3 people behind her losing the ball. Now Sugg coming the other way, goes up, stuffed.
Blocked.
Aaron Moore.
Wow.
Now Michaela Veenan for the Foresters. Gets the ball back up to Hamill. What a good stop for the Foresters. Bope, Avina, Moore, Fryman, and Hamill in for the Foresters. And Fryman dropping down. Bope losing the ball, not touched by the Lancers, and so that'll be their ball. Down by 9, 25-14.
One of the few mistakes the Foresters have made so far in this first half.
We talked about turnovers as well. Only 4 for the Foresters. Rebounding, again, has been fantastic, both offensive and defensive, fairly balanced. Aaron Moore, I think, has been doing a very good job on Brooks Sugg. That extra bit of height. Stole top of the key 3, no good. Michaela Ivina finding a body. And out of bounds, Hostetler in the corner. It'll be a Forester ball. Fantastic job getting the offensive board, but not able to retain possession. 25-14 again, 3:41 to go.
For a team that normally averages about 30%, they're now shooting about 1/3 of that at a solid 8%.
And that's just fantastic defense from the Foresters in part, but also you got to wonder if the Lancers maybe after halftime come out and start hitting.
You have to wonder what adjustments are going to be made at halftime. Do you just keep shooting threes, or do you take a step back and try and just completely change up the offense? I mean, my boys in blue, Villanova, you look at what they do. What they did last year is they lived by the 3, but then you look at one of their games, West Virginia, they started off 1 for like 20. And they were still able to play well because they adjusted and started relying on their inside game. And I could see Grace doing that because they have a couple of studs on the inside that they're not really utilizing right now.
Brooks Sugg up and under, finding it on not Maddie Reeker, Aaron Moore, able to get it to drop. And I think inside for the Lancers really is where they need to start working on. You talk about how well they shoot from beyond the arc, but anytime that you start missing that much from outside, work the ball inside, and that's why I think the Foresters have found themselves so successful in this first half. Even against the 2-3, which you like to think of as more of a compact zone, they've really worked that short corner down low. Avina looking outside now. Sam Hamill, 10 seconds on the shot clock. Avina losing the ball, getting it back inside. Kick out. Aaron Moore, long 2, gets it to drop. The Foresters again coming up with another offensive possession.
Like you said, too, if Grace keeps pounding on the inside, that's going to open up more on the outside for them to get more open looks for the 3-pointer.
Hostetler charging inside will be fouled. Foul going against Michaela Avina. 5 fouls now on the team for the Foresters. That'll be Avina's first. Hostetler now finds herself at the line shooting 2. Score 27-16. Under 3 minutes to go in this first half. Free throw no good. Talk about when you're on the road, Justin. I mean, there are 2 things that have to be constant: defense and free throws. So far, the Lancers struggling a little bit with both. That 3-point percentage might come in the second half, but right now, really need to take anything they can get.
Outside of the 3-pointer, they're not shooting that bad. They're about 6 for 15, which is kind of closing in around 50%, which is where the Foresters are sitting right now. It's just these missed possessions that they're having, just keep trying to force it into their basket.
Avina running the point for the Foresters. Swinging the ball back around Sam Hamill, and she'll be called for a split feet travel. Maddie Reeker coming back in to check in now. She'll come in for Avina.
Big opportunity here for the Lancers to try and cut into that 10-point lead and bring it back to single digits. If they could keep it close coming into halftime, there's a lot of explosiveness that they could rely on in the second half to really bring this game close.
A 10-point differential, 2 minutes to go in the first half. Veronica Drake up top. Lancers trying to run plenty of time off the clock. I mean, we talked about how quick some of the possessions were. Now going into an ISO with Veronica Drake stepping back to the right foot, gets it to drop. A good possession, running about 20 seconds though off the game clock. And that'll be a foul on Stoll, putting her hands on. Coach Dan Davis getting a little vocal here. I mean, definitely understandable, you know, that in that case, a good double team coming up with a foul, though.
I mean, look at this game for you as a rookie coach. Your team right now is sitting 3rd in the standings, and you have an opportunity to prove yourself against a ranked team. I mean, this game's huge for Grace, and if they win, that could show so much for the program that they have. Give them something really to build off of going forward.
And they've played so well at home, especially against out-of-conference opponents, but in conference, the Crossroads League a lot different. You see Sam Hamill there, a good backdoor cut. Really the bread and butter of the Foresters this game. Not the 3 ball, but that inside the paint. Nice layup.
Yeah, I guess you look at this from the opposite side, too. The Foresters have dropped games to 3 of the best teams in the conference. So now they can't lose these games to teams that they should be beating, or else that could be deadly if you look at the rankings going into the tournament and just the final standings overall.
And, of course, later in the season, always a chance to avenge those games, but especially with the Foresters, I mean, those are the kind of games where you really want to show, not only out of conference, but also in conference, you can compete. Here in Platt Arena, the Foresters really getting some momentum going, though. I mean, 30 points in the first half almost. 10-point advantage. Now, Maddie Reeker will be inbounding the ball. I think the second half is going to be crucial, though, for both teams. Will the Lancers come out hitting from 3? Will the Foresters score more than 2 points in that that first stretch coming out of the locker room.
And it's always a struggle for guys and girls here in the Platt Arena to come out in the second half and really perform. I know I remember watching the guys a lot last year, and they'd always just start so hot. Mike Bush would come out and drop like 15, 20 points in the first half just to have the game come close. And at that point, whoever's got the momentum in a close game is going to be the team who pulls it together.
Veronica Drake right now doing a fantastic job on offense. Another 2 for her.
She's really catching fire.
And they're coming up with a steal on defense, pushing back ahead. Kick out, right side, 3 up for the Lancers, and it's good. A bit of a momentum shift. You talked about 30 seconds could make a big difference. We're seeing it here, a few costly turnovers for the underclassmen.
The Forsters need to be really careful and try to not make this any worse than it could potentially be, because we've been talking about one thing this whole entire time, and that's just how flat the offense has been for Grace, but just lit a spark.
And this is where at any point in time like this, Forest is showing their poise willingness to come back here. I mean, you're talking about 21 seconds to go in the first half. Plenty of time for the Foresters, 14 on the shot clock, about a 7-second differential.
This would be huge for the Foresters if they could just get some points going into the half and then just walk away from it. They really need to make sure and make this the last possession of the game. They don't want to give them a chance to try and hit something from beyond the arc afterwards.
A 10-point lead cut down to 5. Sarah Fryman makes it 7. 13 to go here. Pushing up on the right side. Another 3 up for the Lancers. Does not find the bottom, and now 5 seconds. Going the other way, pushing left hand, Sam Hamill, left hand up, and a foul at the buzzer.
Before the shot.
Which means she will get 2 free throws. Chance to make this a 9-point game. Officials discuss whether they'll put a little bit of time back on the clock. Should be free throws for sure. The only question will be, is there time left on the clock?
And man, oh man, if that shot had went in for Grace, we could be looking at a 31-27 game going into the half.
From you, I like that.
I
it's
mean,
probably better than my math in that one.
I mean, I am an accounting minor, so, but no, I mean, you look at the lead got up to the point of like 13 points, and it potentially could have been down to 3 had that shot went in. And that's just how, like, flip one switch and this game can go a completely different direction.
The officials will put a little bit of time up on the clock. Really all that means is that, I mean, you're probably not going to see 1 second or more. We'll see in just a moment what they put up. But what that means is that instead of shooting this by herself at the free throw line, Sam Hamill will have some extra bodies in the paint.
Very, very outside chance we'll see another basket go in outside of her free throws.
I mean, 1.2 seconds on the clock. You could see potentially Bope coming up with a quick putback, but 2 guaranteed shots for Sam Hamill. First up and good, just as we've come to expect, shooting very well. The guys right now ranked 3rd in the nation in free throw percentage.
Really?
Women doing a very good job as well. Yeah, I mean, again, in close games like this, especially in the Crossroads League, free throws are gimme points. Second free throw, good. Lancers will have 1.2 seconds. Quick 3 up.
Oh,
close.
Hits the rim.
Hits backboard, hits rim, but will not drop. That means final score in the first half, 33-24. We'll be back in a little bit with more coverage here inside Platt Arena, but for now, that'll do it in the first half for myself, Justin Ayers, Bray Snyder. We'll see you in a few.
What does it mean to impact your community? As a broadcast media major at Huntington University, you'll explore that question and uncover the heart of storytelling. Tell real-life stories of the world around you from day one and uncover why it matters to the campus, community, and beyond. It could be in our live TV studio through our award-winning newscast, broadcasting home athletic events, or running HU's very own radio station. You'll have the opportunity to use industry-standard equipment from 4K cameras to instant replay to better prepare you for a future career. In addition to foundational courses, you'll have the chance to specialize in church media, corporate media, news, or marketing and sales. Or spend your last summer interning in one of America's largest cities, Phoenix, Arizona. In this one-of-a-kind opportunity, you'll have a home base at Huntington University's Arizona Center for Digital Media as you launch into professional opportunities catered toward your area of interest, and enjoy the sunshine in the process. Your professional network begins as soon as you become a Forester. Broadcast media majors at HU have a long-standing history of success in the job market. You'll be connected with alumni who have gone before you. Not to mention, all of your professors have industry experience. You've been given a gift. Why not use it to impact your world for Christ? Huntington University Broadcast Media. Real life stories, real world experiences. Impact your community.
I am Dr. Fred Miller. I am the department chair of kinesiology and also an exercise science professor at Huntington University. Huntington University is unique as far as they get a lot of one-on-one attention from the professor. Helping them learn the information or helping them minister a test, whereas some universities, you don't get that one-on-one from the professors. One of our themes focuses is on being a Christian and trying to be a good role model for others. We're here, we really care about the student, we want to see that student succeed, not just preparing them for their future career, but also we want to prepare them to be a servant for God. Huntington University, we have a lot of equipment that students will get an opportunity to use and experience. Some of the equipment we have include a bod pod, which is very famous. We also have other interesting equipment that students will get to use. That equipment include a VO2 Max, a metabolic cart system. There's also a lot of equipment including other health measures. Students will get plenty of opportunity to learn how to use all this equipment, and they will get administering it to other students. Oftentimes students who get an undergraduate degree in exercise science will go on to physical therapy school, or even they will go on to physician assistant school. And then also another common career path for students is to become a strength conditioning specialist and mainly work with athletes. Exercise science is a degree where students will gain a lot of knowledge about health, but having someone that has the knowledge and experience to help an individual to get fit, to get healthy is important. And students at Huntington University, they learn about knowledge that's credible and that's important for students to have so they can help these individuals.
So Powder Puff football is two teams divided up by floors, and then they all have flags, so it's just a flag football game. And so we have the two end zones, and it's just like a regular game. We usually play two 20-minute halves, and it's just a good time for everybody to get some football in since we don't have a football team here as a sport.
Let's go, Nice, go ahead, go!
Powder Puff to me is something that actually opened me up at Huntington.
And for me, just as a freshman, obviously, I get to know all the different girls on my floor, and we all grow closer together.
Powder Puff just means a lot of unity between the girls on the floor, and just provided a lot of good fun between all the other girls on campus as well.
Powder Puff means to me, it just signifies some of the best times that you're going to have during homecoming weekend.
Here in Huntington University's film program, we offer a one-of-a-kind experience. You'll have access to state-of-the-art equipment and the opportunity to gain practical experience on set. But what really sets us apart from other universities? While the films that we make are important to us, we give special attention to how we make them. In our film program, we understand the process behind making a film is just as important as the finished product you see on screen. And how we treat one another on set has a big impact. Which is why our program is part of the Kinema Commonwealth, a group of filmmakers dedicated to creating an environment of mutual respect that values individual artists over the bottom line. Our goal is to create excellent works of cinematic art and storytelling that both entertain and turn those involved into better people. We hold to 3 community values that make up the Kinema Manifesto. The first is respect for the individual, in which the time, energy, resources, and personal well-being of the artist are shown full respect. Artists are not just used for their talents, but embraced as collaborators. The second is respect for the community, where the natural environment, the local community, and the audience are all treated with the utmost care and respect. Filmmaking impacts not only the filmmakers, but those around us too. The third is respect for the art, because each filmmaker should be given artistic freedom to work creatively and to the best of their ability, while remembering that we are all working towards the same story. We believe that by living out these community values daily, the resulting projects will be works of passion, infused with the artistic voices of all the filmmakers. Our hope is that our students will not only practice these values during their 4 years here, but that they will take them into the professional industry and over time, revolutionize the way films are made in the United States and the rest of the world. We are striving to create leaders who pursue excellence in their craft while showing love and respect to those around them.
Well, some other schools, digital media arts and media in general might kind of just be an afterthought. They might just store their gear in a closet. We have a dedicated place for all equipment. We have a dedicated staff member and a small team of students here to help out with all equipment needs.
Life at Huntington, DMA Equipment Center, take 1.
We call it the Cage, and to our best knowledge, it's probably stands for Camera, Audio, Grip, and Electrical.
The Cage, or the Equipment Center as some people call it, is really the hub of all equipment and resources for all of the film, broadcast, animation projects. So if you need camera equipment, audio, lighting, anything that'll help you out on set on a project, this is the place to get it.
What I do here at the Equipment Center, one of it is manage our physical assets with the department. The even bigger part of that is the interaction with the students.
Equipment usage at Huntington differs from a lot of other schools in the sense that they actually allow freshmen to get hands-on experience with the equipment that is provided here at the Cage.
So my job is to help people who need to reserve orders. I help people check out orders, spaces that are rentable, so Studio A, edit suites, the Foley pit, scheduling all those.
It also teaches students how a real rental house might work, so equipment care, the rental process, it covers all of that. So it's really foundational and important for the students' education too.
It's always evolving, it's always improving, it's always growing, which is a reflection of an industry standard.
Camera technology is constantly changing. You wait 5 minutes and there's an upgrade. That's probably the biggest challenge in trying to stay on top of a good camera to student ratio so we can get hands-on with everybody.
Great question.
We're able to actually add a little bit more than just checking in and checking out equipment. We oftentimes will actually give advice to students.
If they have questions, they can be demonstrated to them and they can get extra learning and they can pick up some new skills that they might not be able to in a classroom.
It's not just a job. You get to learn all about the film equipment here too.
It's kind of just a central place where everybody can just come.
Anytime we're open.
We have all of the gear.
Talk to a Cage worker.
Really learn from day one.
And cut.
Welcome back here inside Platt Arena. My name's Bray Snyder, joined by Justin Ayers. Score 33-24. Your Foresters lead at the end of the first half. Justin, about ready to kick off second half. First of all, what did you think of the first half? What were your thoughts on the Foresters' lead?
Yeah, well, when we came into this game, I was wondering two things. The Foresters' game plan is either going to be we have to keep up with Grace or we have to shut down Grace, which both seem like pretty simple ways to follow. And so far, they've definitely followed the we're going to shut them down kind of game plan. We look at the amount of points that the Grace has scored so far, 24. They normally average about 39 per half. So they're already way behind there. You look at where that's coming from, though, and it's not necessarily all credited to the Foresters' defense, which is playing very well. I do give credit to how well their defense is playing, but you just look at some of the wasted opportunities by Grace. So one of the numbers to really look at is Lauren Godfrey for Grace right now. She was 6 going into this game of the amount of threes that she throws, and right now she's leading the team with 6. She's made 1 of them, but definitely contributing to that 2 for 15 percentage. They normally shoot about 27. They're already overshooting that when they're already missing some. So I'm really surprised by that. But just going forward, I just am really curious just how Grace is going to play the rest of this game. You look at Veronica Drake is nearly playing unstoppable. I mean, she's 5 for 6, over 10 points. She's got a couple assists.
Yeah, Veronica Drake leading all scorers with 11 right now. Yeah,
she's playing very well. But I mean, on the other side, offensive efficiency for the Foresters has been crazy. Already go over 50% for their field goal percentage. You have people like Brooke Saylor already had a double-double. And then you have Sam Hamill just playing outstanding, just really working the inside. The number of the half, I have to say, points in the paint. Grace has 10. Foresters have 24.
Well,
they have matched Grace's score just by points in the paint.
The one big crazy thing, again, you look at the shot chart right now. You've got a few threes on the outside, and then the Foresters in the paint. It's just been fantastic. Now, there are a few putbacks on that. What's been the biggest thing, though? The Lancers zone has been extending up just enough to where the Foresters are picking it apart on that back line, and they're really shooting through those backdoor cuts. And, generally think about that in a man defense setting where, you get your guy or your girl, you go back, and you're able to get to the bucket. We're doing this in a zone. The Foresters are doing such a great job passing. Talk about the amount of assists that we have to turnovers. 6 assists, 3 turnovers. You'd like to see a better ratio than that, but a large part of that, too, is just the second chance points. The Foresters are so effective in the paint.
Yeah, and I mean, something that's worth noting is Grace is probably used, when they're playing all these high-scoring games, their defense has got to be more adjusted to guarding on the arcs.
Exactly.
And they are not as used to going on the inside, even though it's still worth noting that Maddie Reeker is open on the arc the majority of these possessions, and they're just not going to her because they know they can get it on the inside. But that's where most of their 3 points are coming from, is her. She's just there wide open. So Grace's needs to make some adjustments because what they have is just not working. So let's see how this goes.
As you mentioned, third quarter underway. 33-24. Again, your Foresters coming out with that 9-point lead, thanks in part to 2 free throws from Sam Hamill at the end of the first half. Sarah Fryman, quick 3 up, and that's good, starting off the things for the Foresters.
Just coming right out and playing a little bit of Grace's own game against them.
Her shot is one of the purest on this team as well. Percentage sometimes is, from beyond the arc a little questionable, but that shot is finding an empty gap and putting the ball up. Now Brooke Sugg coming the other way. Hostetler top, looking for that kick out from Sugg. Now Stoll left corner.
I mean, there's nobody in the paint right now for Grace.
Getting back on the outside, and first 3 drops, and sometimes you don't need it inside.
I guess you don't.
As long as you're hitting, and we talked about this first half, the Lancers not shooting very well from beyond the arc. I wonder if that's going to increase here for the second half.
They're still playing press on defense. I wonder, if they get hot, this could be a whole different game, and it wouldn't take long for this lead the Foresters have to close.
Well, and there's a quick steal from Sugg. Moore's got to try to beat her back. Get inside the paint, going up against Sugg, and Hamill, good defense, forcing a turnover. Now Hamill coming the other way. Flanked by 3 Foresters, goes inside, drops back off to Moore, so turning a layup into a jumper, but still gets 2 points.
You look at both, you had 2 fast breaks there. You had Grace ran, tried to make something out of nothing. Foresters had nothing and then made something.
Now Sugg trying to go over top of a screen from Warble, dropping it off inside. Good defense from the Foresters. Good block out, and Hamill coming the other way. Outlet to Maddie Reeker, tracking the ball down over top of the official's head. Inside, losing the ball, and Coach Kohler getting a timeout off. That'll be a 30-second timeout, and, good heads-up play from Reeker to to stay on the ball. Driving to 2 defenders, maybe not the best decision, but comes up with the ball, and Forrester's still with that 11-point lead, Justin.
Yeah, Forrester's playing a little quicker right now on offense than they were in the first half. I've got to wonder if now they're like, we laid our base and now we're just going to try and attack, compared to like Grace is still trying to find their footing.
38-27, again, and the Lancers coming out with a quick 3, but I'd say no cause for alarm yet for the Foresters. Good defense in the first half was due to just keeping your man assignments and staying there. Brooke Sugg having a big issue because Erin Moore was fantastic in the first half. You know, when we were talking to people at halftime, maybe didn't give her credit because the stat sheet itself doesn't speak to her necessarily, but the defense on Brooke Sugg limiting her, I mean, that's one of the biggest things that I think has kept the score the way it is in this half.
Another thing, Sugg's going to be getting tired soon. I mean, you saw on that fast break there, like, Foresters were able to beat her to the bucket, and that really hurt, and she had to try and pass something off.
Well, when we talk about the Foresters, are they going to heat up from beyond the arc? There's another one. 2 threes for the Foresters. 41-27, 8 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Like I said, Riekert's been open along the arc this whole entire game, but they haven't needed her. And so now they might start taking advantage of that just to try and cushion their lead a little bit.
Yeah, you mentioned how interesting that is. The points in the paint was crazy, scoring almost more points than the Lancers in the paint. Now 2 quick threes. I think it's going to be interesting to see what the Foresters do, though, in the second half, whether they continue to push inside or whether they start getting into this outside the arc mentality. Saylor inside, quick drop down to Fryman. I think that answers the question. They're still looking.
Yes, they are. They're still just playing smart. That's 3 possessions they just went down. Haven't really had much trouble scoring. I mean, wide open shots, smart shots, just finding and picking apart this Grace defense.
Sugg driving inside, Veronica Drake driving inside. Sugg catching a little bit of relief. Outlet to Fryman. Nice pass to Rieker. Shot fake, goes up inside. Saylor pulled down the board, had a double-double in the first half. That's her 13th board.
And there it is.
And another bucket for the Foresters, Justin. Wow.
I mean, you look at essentially in that possession, they're almost like 2 different possessions within. But each one of those, they just went up and took a shot. And there's a little travel.
Unfortunate for Hostetler, trying to do a little shake move and ends up falling to the ground. Wondering who's going to come out shooting hot, Justin. Foresters answered that at least right off the bat. Of course, only 3 minutes into the second half, but jumping out to a quick 45-29 lead.
Already dropped 10 points and have not had 1 empty possession so far.
Ball inbounded and pressed for the Lancers again, which the Foresters really have only had 1 possession where it was questionable whether they would get through it. Other than that, have been pretty effective at breaking it. You know, Coach Kohler, we talked to her. She's been doing a very intentional job of working on that in practice.
So at what point do you shut down this press that they're doing? Because honestly, it has not worked yet. And if you keep those defenders down on the other end, you can set up a defense. Because that's part of what, I mean, they're running at some points. Oh my goodness, what a shot. But anyways, they're running against 3 to 5 defenders. And at some point, that's just not gonna work if you keep trying to press, and you're gonna wear yourself out.
Well, I think one of the big things right now for Dan Davis as he calls a timeout to try to just regroup is that press is trying to speed up the Foresters. I think the reason that you continue to do it is because the Foresters still haven't really sped themselves up yet. They're not shooting shots 5 seconds into the shot clock or 10 seconds in. They're holding for possessions. The Foresters' threes are coming deeper into the shot clock. And I think maybe Coach Davis is still trying to just continue to try to speed up the Foresters because really, look at the Lancers' past scores. We're talking about, again, 300-plus point games. They're looking to get in shootouts. The Foresters, at the other hand, right now, 48 points with 6:30 to go in the third quarter. They're going to try to set up more on offense, and especially we see the same thing on defense, Justin. Really trying to hold the Lancers late in the shot clock, but Lancers just, I think they continue doing what they're doing. The Foresters just dominating on offense right now.
I mean, you look at Grace outscored Huntington in the second quarter by a couple of points, and that's something that is a little hard to believe after you watch that game and how like the momentum swing went. But now, Foresters already up 10 in this quarter. I mean, you just gotta wonder. If I'm the coach, and I'm not, I'm a cross-country runner for a reason, but you gotta make an adjustment at some point.
Going inside, hitting the bottom of the rim. Warble not able to get it down, and another Forester ball. Interesting. I mean, coming out of that timeout, you think Coach Davis drawing up a set, the Lancers not able to capitalize. I do wonder at what point, though, the floodgates are going to open because we mentioned how effective they are on offense. Forster's really doing a good job of limiting possessions as well. A little trouble here on the press, but get across in 8 seconds. Sam Hamill setting up the offense again, looking for that high trap. Unfortunately, right now with Sugg and Stoll, just not a lot of height at the top of that zone. Sugg, a big strip come the other way now. Stoll against Rieker, goes up, left hand, easy 2 for the Lancers. Now only 17-point differential, still big, especially as we talked about it being 5 points right before halftime.
Ooh.
Once again, Sam Hamill, I think this is one of the games where she needs to just sort of mature just a little bit. She's really pushing in transition up against 3 or 4 bodies and losing the ball. Has a great handle on the ball, but before she's really able to slow down right now.
One of the first possessions where Grace has slowed down a little bit. They had something developing there, and that hasn't been seen much this game so far.
That foul on Sarah Fryman, her first, team's first of the quarter. Also checking in for the Lancers will be number 23, Pam Miller. So Miller, Minix, Stoll, Drake, and Sugg on the floor for the Lancers. A smaller set. Now Drake kicking out to Stoll, quick 3 up. No good. I mean, once again, the Lancers are not able to find it yet. Saylor with another big steal. She's close to a triple-double with steals, rebounds, and points, Justin.
Yeah. She's having a very, very impressive game. I'm so surprised that they gave up some height for more shooting when the shooting hasn't been there, and they need height on the inside because you look there, though that shot came from the outside, she had a wide open shot that was kicked from the inside, and had that been more contested, maybe they could have shut it down.
A foul underneath will give Veronica Drake 2 shots. Lancers really coming the other way, and I mean, already this game got a little bit out of hand at the beginning of the third quarter, 48-31 with 5 minutes to go. What do the Lancers need to do to cut back into that Forrester lead, Justin?
Well, as I've been saying this whole game, they need to make adjustments, but it's tricky because you want to exploit your strengths, and that's the three-point shooting. But the three-point shot hasn't been there this whole entire game. So you just have to wonder, like, one, offensive efficiency needs to be picked up, hands down. Where does that come from? Honestly, I don't know. With the way the Foresters defense is playing, I don't even think we've seen like their max strength so far.
Sam Hamill, a 3rd turnover. Good defense from Maddie Reeker, and now fresh shot clock for the Foresters. Sam Hamill, I mean, she's really done a fantastic job both this year and last year, especially in a lot of games this year, but today just not taking care of the ball early.
I'll say that's another thing. If Grace wants to come back, they got to capitalize on Forrester mistakes.
Yeah, the Lancers press really starting to speed up the Foresters in the second half. Again, we mentioned it. Kind of funny that it's ended up opening the floodgates for the Foresters offense. Right now, Maddie Reeker on the right side. Erin Moore left wing. Looking inside for Fryman still. Hamill gets a little pass up to her. And a blocking foul called. Looked like potentially inside the restricted area. That time, good defense from Lexi Minix, but a foul will be called on her. Referee's going to discuss real quick. I think they're discussing whether or not it will be a shooting foul or a common foul underneath the bucket. Foul officially on Pam Miller, actually. They called on Pam Miller. That foul should have been on number 24, Lexi Minix. Yeah, Pam Miller saying something to the officials. Officials still discussing here, Justin. So let's take a quick break. I mean, if you're the Lancers right now, again, what are you thinking in the third quarter? Do you think the press is starting to do better things? Do you think you potentially maybe drop this back and play half court?
I don't know. It's with how the press is working so far. Oh, they called that a charge?
They're actually going to reverse it.
They reversed it.
Well, we'll put that question on pause because Coach Kohler now discussing with the officials, just as we were wondering whether or not she was inside the restricted area or not. There's also another part of this, Justin. Again, there's a question of whether or not she was underneath Sarah Fryman as she caught the ball. If Sarah Fryman catches the ball in the air, Minix cannot be underneath her, or else there can't be a charge foul called because Sarah Fryman has to be able to land on her feet. In that instance, officials going to still stay with the charge. That'll be Fryman's second quick foul, so going the other way. No free throws coming for the Foresters.
And back to what I said, this is an opportunity for Grace to capitalize on. They have the ball and the player who's been running this team so far, Veronica Drake, and let's see if she can do something with it.
Stoll dribbling inside on Fryman, goes up right hand, no good, but pulls down the offensive board, kick back out top to Sugg. Erin Moore, we talked about the good defense, stepping back up again. Sugg hitting the ground after the fact, and definitely a very late foul call. Sugg hit the deck, and then the foul coming.
Forster fans not happy with that call right there. Not happy with the last couple calls that have been released.
Well, it's actually going to be called a dead ball, foul.
Interesting.
So it'll be Lancer ball still driving in again, and that possession very crucial that the Lancers got the offensive rebound. Definitely things changing out of halftime. Ball gets back out to Sugg. Aaron Moore defending. Short pull-up, good drop down, and a foul called on Maddie Reeker. 3 quick foul calls for the Foresters, Justin. Things changing quick.
Yeah, back to what you said about the press. Maybe my opinion's changed a little bit because you're starting to see more mistakes being made by the Foresters. A few balls on the ground that doesn't necessarily need to be on the ground, and a few shots being forced that don't necessarily need to be forced. And now you have Grace, who, with the opportunity to score some points, Foresters were up about like 15-3 in scoring, and now for this quarter, and Grace has an opportunity to kind of bring that back to neutral.
So now score 48-33. Press still on, trying to speed the Foresters up a little bit. I mean, basketball is a game of waves, right? You know, possessions come in waves. The Lancers really riding this one, getting another layup out to Sugg. Defensive breakdown, and a travel going to be called.
Oh my goodness.
And this is so big for the Lancers. It's another 2 points.
What a golden opportunity just thrown away right there.
Coach Kohler going to call her 3rd timeout, another 32nd. We will stay here. I mean, that's just one possession. We don't necessarily need to focus on it too much, but I mean, big for the Lancers, trying to ride that wave of momentum and just not able to capitalize on an easy layup. You got to wonder there why Lexi Minix didn't get the ball up to.
I mean, she had a couple open shots she could have taken. Yeah. She didn't really need to move the ball. That's kind of surprising. You see someone who's been so confident this season and just throwing up the ball, kind of pausing. You wonder if she's almost like just doubting herself in her ability to make shots so far, considering how unsuccessful she's been from behind the three-point arc. Just trying to find something more reliable than just throwing it up herself.
So the Foresters back in after their 32nd timeout. 15-point advantage, score 48-33, 3:25 to go in the 3rd quarter. Press still on. Morton getting up to Moore. Now setting back up again to Maddie Reeker. 20 seconds on the shot clock and plenty of time for the Foresters to set something up.
And there's Reeker opening the key, and she makes it.
3rd 3 for her this half, and really the Foresters doing a fantastic job of moving the ball. We talked about easy threes coming in rhythm.
I mean,
so the Lancers just getting
that shot's been open this whole entire game. Reeker's been right there on the edge.
And Sugg trying it one of her own, getting the step back in Maddie Reeker's face. That time Moore not defending her.
I mean, that just looked like a desperation shot, but it worked. Matching Reeker right up.
We talked about streaky players. You know, Brooke Sugg only averaging 16 a game, but she has had some very big performances here lately. Reeker getting the ball off to Fryman, a lot of contact, and finally a foul called. The Lancers really trying to play high up with a lot of energy.
They're still playing aggressive, which is kind of shocking to me. Just at this point, you'd think that maybe they'd tire down or even just try and slow down, especially with the success of the offense. More coming when they're a little more patient, with the exception of a couple just shots that they've thrown up. Meanwhile, though, the Foresters are starting to match their intensity level, where they were really calm in the first half and just not making a lot of mistakes, have a really high efficiency just rating overall. Now the balls are on the floor, they're getting trapped more. You're wondering if they're starting to play more into what Grace wants them to do.
So fresh shot clock for the Foresters, 51-36. Veronica Drake on Aaron Moore. Turnovers for the Foresters, really, and ball security as well, has become a big thing in the second half.
Yeah.
Fryman driving inside, spin move, right hand. Is that her go-to move or what? Not able to finish, but Aaron Moore going up, getting fouled. A smile on her face just like always, and she'll find herself the line shooting two.
I think what you said, turnovers and ball security, not great for the Foresters right now, but Grace only has 7 points off all of these turnovers. So Huntington has turned the ball over 15 times. In only 4 of those times have Grace actually done anything with it. I mean, that's crazy to me.
And that's 6 turnovers here just in the 3rd quarter. A lot of pressure being put on the Foresters with this press. I think this is a reason to keep the press up and continue it going if you're Coach Dan Davis. Now Veronica Drake coming around the outside, getting the ball to Sugg. Long three, no good, and that'll hop over the backboard, be a dead ball. You mentioned trying to figure out whether or not she's going to continue shooting all night. I think she will.
I mean,
a big part of it as well is just
after she made that three-pointer, something had to have sparked.
Exactly.
Her. Especially the team's road off her momentum so far this entire season. She needs to be the one who steps up and just be a leader for this team.
Exactly. Sarah Fryman, bit of pressure. Got to be careful. Ball went around.
Oh.
Ooh, actually, yeah, we'll be out of bounds. Ball went around that time. Number 44, Brooke Treadway, who trekked in for the Lancers. Be Lancer ball. Score 53-36. 2 minutes to go here in the third quarter.
And with another turnover, you have to wonder if Grace is just going to try and take their time and capitalize on this. Because if you look at all of the opportunities they've had, this should be a much closer game than it actually is. I mean, 17 points is not much. Well, now 14 points. 14 points isn't that much for 15 turnovers.
Well, and especially if you start to get streaky from three, it turns, I was just going to say, it turns a game like this into something that can be cut down a lot quicker. But another foul again. Fouls really starting to add up. And we didn't see a lot of fouls called in the first half in this manner. That press, definitely a lot of physicality. And this is Crossroads League play. There will be a lot of play on allowed, but definitely contact. And now Sam Hamill trying to step up, finally getting out of that double team. Gets it to Maddie Reeker.
Something that surprised me with like just how aggressive Grace is playing is the Foresters haven't been sent to the line very much. They've only shot 4 free throws this entire game. And I mean, that's only 2 fouls that really mean anything. And then
Hamill driving right side, kick back out to Casey Morton, 9 on the shot clock. Kick out Maddie Reeker far side, drop down Aaron Moore, goes baseline. And second time she will be called stepping out of bounds. Sarah Fryman hitting the 3 after, but won't count. So 2 mental mistakes from the Foresters, still enjoying that 14-point lead. And we'll see Michaela Vina checking in here. She'll come in for Aaron Moore. So now Avina will be matched up against Sugg. We mentioned how well Aaron Moore has been doing against her. Avina a little bit shorter, and now she will switch off. So Maddie Reeker on Sugg, Avina on Hostetler. Justin, you got to wonder, are the threes going to continue coming from the Lancers?
I just don't see it. I mean, little things like that, almost going backcourt. Oh, throws it off of Reeker, but I just don't see this game changing much until the very end. When they hit the fourth quarter, I'll be interested to see at that point if this first-year coach makes an adjustment or he just tries to stay true to what they do. Because at this point, this could be more about just finding footing, moving forward compared to this game in itself.
Officials discussing really quick whether or not there's any possession change.
A little confusion on the court.
Yeah, since there was no possession change, Foresters never maintained possession. It'll be 13 seconds for the Lancers. I was just going to say, Justin, that really in this game, you definitely cannot count either the Lancers or the Foresters out until this game is over. I mean, the fact that the Lancers get streaky from behind the arc and another quick 2 from Veronica Drake, this game is always within reach for the Lancers.
Oh, and yeah, like we were talking earlier, it takes 30 seconds for them to make 3 3-pointers. And they make 3 3-pointers, this game is a whole different story, especially with the amount of turnovers being committed. That's not out of the realm of possibility to just make a turnover, make a shot, make a turnover, make a shot, make a turnover, make a shot. And I mean, we've seen it happen before. It's not something that's out of the realm of possibility.
Going inside to Sarah Fryman, kick out Sam Hamill, long 2. No good, board pulled down by the Lancers. Brooke Sugg coming the other way, has a transition pass, pull up 3 for Sugg. No good, board pulled down by the Lancers. Kick
Open
out 3 up, and Veronica Drake not able to get it to drop. And that will do it for the third quarter here, 12-point differential. Justin, these Lancers really trying to fight back. That'll do it for us here for a moment. We'll be back just a little bit for more coverage here inside Platt Arena. We are back here inside Platt Arena for coverage here in the fourth quarter. Dr. Sherilyn Emberton in the stands. You see her at almost all of our home games here. I'll take a minute to thank our supporters as well, though. We've had a lot of supporters help us get our new system, help us bring better broadcasts for you. Emberton also a big part of that. Lance Clark, Clooney Landscaping, the athletic departments, the DMA department here on campus. Always love seeing Dr. Emberton at these home games, though, Justin.
Oh, yeah. Just the amount of, that's one of the things that sets Huntington University as a whole apart, just the interaction that the staff and faculty have just with the students and the good relationships that are formed.
Ready to go underway here in the fourth quarter, 12-point differential. Big question, will the Lancers be able to erase the lead?
At this point, you haven't changed anything, so you just got to keep rolling with what you're doing. One thing that is a success for Grace is just how uncomfortable the Forsters were made that last quarter. Though they did score more, the ball was on the floor so much for Grace to make points like that.
A quick turnover for the Foresters. We mentioned this. It seems to be the mental mistakes that are the biggest thing for the Foresters. Not any big three or any big bucket from the Lancers, but simple turnovers, wiping out a possession chance.
I mean, now that's 18 turnovers for the Forsters. Most of the time when you hear a number like that, you'd expect the scoreboard to look a lot different than it has. I mean, just those missed opportunities on possessions after the turnovers, just trying to rush and force the ball in. And at this point in the game, when time's now a bigger factor than maybe the scoreboard is in general, maybe that's what you continue to do for Grace. But I mean, here, a couple open three-point shooters. We'll see what they do.
Veronica Drake, bottom left corner, gets it to drop. What a game she's having, Justin.
Oh, yeah.
They're putting this team on her back early, both she and Sugg. And again, the press on. Brooke Saylor, plenty of time, looking to Avina on the other side. Plenty of time to get it across, and now Fryman pulling the ball back out, getting it to Avina. This 2-3 zone is really low in the first half. It's really stepped up, and they've really started pressuring the guards at the top.
Well,
Hamill looking inside to Fryman now.
Game's now within 10 points. This huge shot, and she makes it. First points of the game.
Oh, man. And
she knew the second she let it go that she had that one going in.
How clutch is it? But now on defense, got to come up with another stop. Hostetler driving in from the free throw line, gets that to drop. Forsters coming up with a 1-point swing on that possession, which is still good, but the lead now down to 9. Sarah Fryman on the right side, going inside, up with some contact. She'll go to the line to shoot 2.
One of the advantages of having Avina out on the court right now is just the endurance that she has and how quick she is. I know watching her in soccer, you know, she's just got all kinds of just physical capabilities and talents that a lot of basketball players might take for granted. Maybe she isn't the best shooter, maybe she isn't as great on the inside, but she knows how to get up and down and play with a lot of energy. And right now against a team like Grace, where they're forcing a lot of mistakes, she's a really big asset to have on the court.
Second one for Fryman, rolls off the front, so a 10-point lead for the Foresters. 8:30 to go here in regulation. Hostetler back up top. The Lancers really opting for a bigger presence inside. Foul call, this one going against the Lancers. It's time number 24, Lexi Minix. A good stop for the Foresters. Really needed something there to try to lengthen this lead.
They really needed to stop there. Grace had started to just up their success rate on offense, and they really needed to shut them down.
And this is something that we've seen with the Foresters against a lot of the Crossroads League teams. Strong first halves, and then second half maybe letting up a little bit. Not even pumping the brakes, but just letting up a little bit. And that lead starts to shrink when we see them do that. When they put their foot down on the gas, they are good to go. And Fryman there inside, really getting back to what they did in the first half, Justin.
Yeah, that's what they're going to need to do. They need to go back. They had their third quarter there. They were moving quick, and they scored a lot of points by doing that. They had their highest scoring quarter of the game, but now they just really need to get back and in control of, like, the possession. And there's the points and the foul.
Veronica Drake with that right hand, man. Let me tell you, she's been deadly tonight.
Exactly.
Closing the gap to 10.
I mean, Grace is going to stick with what's working, and the Foresters need to go back and just get out of here as they can, as soon as they can, and run out as much clock as they can.
Veronica Drake with 18 right now. Chance to make it 19. Not able to, but still leading all scorers with 18. It seems like every time she's here in Platt Arena. Tie ball, but going to be called. Coach Kohler not able to get it, so it will be that'll be a Forester ball. Possession now going to the Lancers after this. Coach Kohler not able to get the timeout off, Justin, because Kayla Avina did not have possession and then did not have sole possession of the ball. Good job by this officiating crew today. Definitely a few calls that have been questionable for the Forester faithful. Hamill going inside, losing the ball. I think definitely a good no call by the Foresters.
It's interesting looking at the size that's on the court right now. You do have, Grace has a lot of more of their shorter guards, but more better shooters on. But you look at what the Foresters should be able to do on offense, and it's a little questionable like how they're going to be able to defend the Foresters. But if they keep making mistakes and turning the ball over like they had, nearing their 20th turnover, you just got to wonder how this game's going to turn out.
Lancers back into this winding around the three-point arc offense. A travel. Split feet called. Lexi Minix again, and we talked about the Foresters' turnovers really being impactful, starting to hit the Lancers now.
I mean, in the fourth quarter in a Crossroads league game, you cannot make mistakes, and that needs to go from both teams. Just got to be smart with the ball, and especially at travel. Like, that's the turnover you don't want. You don't want to just walk unless you, like, you don't want to walk. You don't. There's no acceptable situation for that.
And a travel going to be called, another turnover on Avina. Good fast break opportunity, and Hamill doing a good job of getting it up to her.
I mean, that's 3 turnovers back to back to back.
This is what's hard if you're either team watching right now. I mean, both teams with lots of opportunities. Still 10-point lead for the Foresters. 7 minutes to go here in regulation. Now Lancers coming the other way. I think what's going to be interesting to see here is how the Foresters do defensively. Sugg getting off a screen. Long 2. Up and good. This is going to be the question. Is can the Foresters stop her again in the second half?
And Sugg is starting to get hot, making, I think she's made the last couple that she's thrown up. I mean, like I said, if they get it close, this could be tough when it comes down to the final possessions where the three-point could really devastate you.
Avina on the right side to Hamill, getting inside to Fryman. Fryman going up, left hand. I think she hit the ground again. We'll call a foul before what would have been a walk there. Definitely a foul call. I think they will call it on the shot. Yeah, Fryman will walk to the line. Coach Dan Davis a little bit upset. I think what he's upset about is just the fact that Fryman didn't release the ball, but definitely contact there.
Yeah, both coaches definitely getting a little like upset more at this officiating crew
than anything else. Well, I think a large part of it, Justin, too, is Crossroads League action with a game as close as this is.
I mean, an important game.
Everything, exactly.
Foresters need their footing. Grace needs this ranked win.
Second free throw good for Fryman, doing a fantastic job from the charity stripe tonight. 10-point advantage Foresters, 6:30 to go. Stoll handing the ball. We talked about turnovers, handing the ball to Fryman. Rieker coming back off. Good job by the senior point guard. Hamill going to set something up against the 2-3. Maddie Rieker on the right side.
I mean, this is the game that Grace probably was more expecting to play, just with this press. I mean, early on, the press was pretty irrelevant to the game. The Foresters just basically were able to walk right through it, but now it's much more difficult. You see Riker, when she's running, she's really struggling to get past some of them.
Top of the key, Fryman looking back out to Rieker. We talked about how deadly she was from 3. That time, ball going to be tipped out by Veronica Drake. Smiles around for both, and now Rieker going to be checking the ball in. Substitutions for the Lancers, checking back in number 13, Hostetler.
I mean, just to see if they find Rieker here outside the arc. A three-pointer right now would be huge.
Ball tipped by Sam Hamill, so has the dribble into Fryman. Top of the, I mean, this is one of the things that the Foresters seem unstoppable at. That little ball inside to Fryman, she's so deadly. Hostetler coming the other way, trying to get to Sugg inside, drops out. Warble, right hand. Good offense from the Lancers. Seem to be matching every possession, Justin.
Tossing her a dime right on the inside of the paint there for her to get on the inside.
Well, we see some turnovers back-to-back, and then we see some threes back-to-back, some free throws back-to-back. Both teams right with each other. Foresters just maintaining that 10-point lead. Now 5 minutes to go. Sam Hamill, top of the key. Looking outside, Maddie Rieker, left corner 3, unguarded, short. Board pulled down by Saylor, up. Should be fouled. Going to the line, no bucket, but another chance to make this a 12-point ball game.
Yeah, if you look outside of the first quarter where the Foresters had the hot start and Grace came out flat, this game has about a 3-point difference. Just 3 points. And that's in Foresters' favor, but I mean, still.
Yeah.
I mean, that's huge. Grace has played almost right up to them, except for that first quarter was just such a big wall to have to overcome.
Exactly.
Coming out and starting like 0 for 7 with their 3-pointers.
I think a big part of that as well was the rushed feeling, and Saylor wiping a free throw off the board. Kind of unfortunate. Made the free throw and rushed in the lane. Have to wait until it hits rim if you're the shooter. Well, the Lancers definitely, Justin, I think we all can agree, they've done a fantastic job fighting their way back after that 6-point first quarter. Forster's doing a lot better job on defense right now, though. Saylor pulling down boards. Definitely a double-double. Might end up with a 20-point, 20-rebound double-double at this rate. 11-point lead for the Foresters, though. 4:44 to go. Maddie Reeker right back into Fryman, really setting up the all-offense. Avina three, no good. Board pulled down by Fryman. Up with the left hand and good. The offensive rebound, Justin, has really set these teams apart today, huh?
I mean, you look at the two on the inside. Saylor with a double-double of 16 and 11 for 16 rebounds and 11 points. And now Fryman just notched her 20th point of the game.
Fighting for a rebound inside. Veronica Drake comes up with it. And she's going to set something back up again. Really, the clock is your friend if you're the Foresters right now. 13-point lead.
Absolutely. I'm surprised that Grace set something up after not really doing that this whole entire game.
Well, and at that, a step-back air ball, really costing them there a few seconds.
I mean, just so many empty possessions. That was like the 30-second empty possession that they've had. I mean, think about the amount of times in a 40-minute game you go down to the into the court. 32 times you go down and you don't even get anything. I mean, that's outrageous.
Avina dropping the ball inside to Saylor. Maddie Reeker three up, not able to find that one. A big board, though. Sam Hamill coming up for it. Over the back foul called on Pam Miller. I think that's one of the highlights of this game, honestly, more than even some of the scoring. But Sam Hamill getting up, pulling down that board. Strong move.
And like I've been saying, Reeker has been there this whole entire game. That shot along the outside has been open. And that's what's been so shocking is they'll work the inside and then they'll realize if something's not working, I can just dish it out and she can just take her shot. But even more important than that is they're getting these rebounds off that. I mean, she's missed that shot a couple times, but even when she's missing that shot, they're still coming away with points.
I think a big thing as well as you see substitution check in here for the Lancers. I think a big thing is that the Foresters really been shooting in rhythm, and it's been within the offense. It seemed like, especially that first half, man, for the Lancers, a lot of threes just coming, you know, off the dribble, just by themselves, not a lot of movement. In the second half, when have they started hitting? It's been in rhythm, and Sugg has done a fantastic job. Drake as well. Hotstetler putting in a few. That ball going near backcourt.
Oh, nice pivot.
Yeah, Drake staying on, and we'll get a timeout here from Coach Dan Davis. As we have a 30-second timeout. All 30-second timeouts here tonight, so we get to stay right here with you. I want to thank you again for joining us tonight, or this afternoon, rather. Students here on campus getting ready for finals, Justin. Just talking to you pre-broadcast. I know you've got a few of your own coming up. Glad that you're spending your Saturday with us, though. We love bringing you the action. Foresters 15-point lead right now. 3:24. What do both teams need to do to close this game out, Justin?
Foresters, as they've done this whole entire game, like I said they needed to do at the beginning, just work the clock. The clock is your friend. Early on, they were just kind of easing these possessions, having 30-second possessions and finding something on the inside. Compared to recently, they've been more up and trying to push something and get it in. Where for Grace, I mean, you just got to make shots. You're getting opportunities. You're getting turnovers. If you look outside of the ball going into the bucket, you would honestly think that there was a chance Grace could have won this game. If you look at how much they had the ball, how many shots they took, how many turnovers they forced, and how clean they've actually played with being as aggressive as they have been. I mean, at the end, it just comes down to points, and you just got to make your shots.
Sugg driving inside, dropping the ball off underneath. Kick out three. Hostetler up, way long. Saylor with another board. Right now, she's just dominating. Hamill setting up again for the Foresters. You got to wonder if the Lancers are soon to start fouling. That 15-point mark is sometimes you hope teams don't start fouling when it's that distant. The Lancers really just in need of a bucket right now. Fryman, good drop down inside to Saylor.
There it is.
There's a possession to cap off this fourth quarter for the Foresters. Brooke Saylor with 11 points, 16 rebounds right now. Make that 13 and 16. How many times do you hear somebody having a double-double with more rebounds than points? I mean,
that's not something you hear very often. I mean, whether it's college ball or professional ball, I mean, most of the time the points is what you normally really, really go for. But I mean, here, rebounds have been key for the Foresters.
Yeah, a lot of non-point scoring players today have made big impacts. Again, Aaron Moore really did a fantastic job shutting down. I think they're definitely in large part shutting down Brooke Sugg in that first half.
I mean, something that wasn't as apparent in the first half, and it has been very apparent here in the third and fourth quarter, is second chance points. Grace, 2, Forsters, 17. And a lot of those are coming off of that shot from Rieker, where either she's making it or they're getting the rebounds and just putting it right back in the bucket.
Points off turnovers, very similar as well, 16 apiece, and there have been a decent amount of turnovers for both teams. I mean, we'll talk to Coach Kohler about this post-game, but 20 turnovers in a win like this is really hard. Assuming that the Forsters are able to hang on, they're certainly doing everything right with 2:23 to go. 71-53, Avina with her second free throw on the way, and we'll get that to drop. So now a 19-point lead for the Forsters. Points in the paint as well. It seems like in the losses for the Forsters, a lot of times there's not a lot of scoring inside. Saylor, Fryman having a fantastic job tonight. Credit the offense for working it into them as well. Be Lancer ball again, 2:13 to play.
Something that surprised me too is where Grace normally would go deep into their bench, the Forsters have really gone deep into their bench, giving a lot of people who normally may not see minutes, giving them a decent amount of time on the playing field. Whereas like Grace is just stuck with their main 5 and not much beyond that, even though those 5 really haven't been doing a whole lot offensively.
Sugg driving left side, looking for the drop down, goes up right hand. Smooth shot, but not able to get to drop. Rieker with the board. Outlet to Avina.
What a spin.
What a spin, and breaks through all 4. Looking somewhat like Mike Bush out here, reminiscent of him last year. Rieker putting the ball back on the floor. 15 on the shot clock, plenty of time for the Forsters. Ball back down to Saylor, and looking inside, finds Fryman, right hand up. Add another assist for Saylor, and another 2 for Fryman. This offense is probably the smoothest that I think we've seen all season from the Forsters.
They've been moving the ball around a lot. 21 assists already this game. That's got to be one of the highs of the season.
The Forsters right now averaging around 72 points per game. Sam Hamill being called for another foul. It'll be the team's 3rd, I believe, of the quarter.
I mean, this is about to be a season low so far for Grace as far as points scored. I mean, some of the games they've doubled what they've been scoring today. And now, I mean, they've been averaging like 78 points per game, and now 53.
Hostetler trying another 3 of her own. Sam Hamill pulling down a board. Now near a minute left in this ball game. Both teams sort of starting to realize the end is close. Fryman attacking inside, looking for that kick out. Finds Saylor. Again, back to Fryman, up no good. Hamill not able to get it either, so Veronica Drake coming the other way now for the Lancers. And Hamill just going to be called for another foul. Coach Kohler talking to Sam Hamill in her notes, all right. That'll be her 3rd. Would assume that she'll stay in the game for the remainder of it.
Yeah, Sam Hamill closing in on a double-double. Don't know if she's actually going to be able to get it with the amount of time we have left, but I mean, what a game for her.
Both teams with some fantastic play on both sides of the ball. It'll be a 30-second timeout, just quick for both teams. Forsters with a 20-point advantage, 21-point, excuse me. And I think a big part of this for the Forsters, that first quarter, defensively was phenomenal and really forcing the Lancers to take early shots on the shot clock, Justin.
Well, it wasn't even too that they were forcing them. It was more just Grace was going and trying to force something. I mean, but if you look at how things could have been, if they had made some of those shots they took early on, scoreboard could look a whole lot different.
Yeah.
Forsters could have had a lot more pressure on them than they actually ended up having. But right now, I mean, they're sitting comfortably with a 21-point lead. And afterwards, they're just going to have a 20%, Grace is going to have a 20% three-point shooting, just almost mistake to look at.
And to be totally fair, we've seen a lot of that with HU men's basketball as well. I mean, when you live by the 3, there are just some games where, especially in away venues, you're not able to hit as much. I think that's where the Lady Forsters are really padded themselves, is because inside tonight is where they were dominant. When the 3s weren't falling, they were hitting inside in the paint. And then the 3 started falling. Outlet to Maddie Rieker, does the smart thing, pulls the ball back out. Starting to hear some claps in the stands. Sam Hamill back out. Forsters will have to shoot at least one more shot just to avoid the turnover, but they'll run the clock down. Sam Hamill looking inside. Fryman pulls the 3. Gets it to drop to cap off a game for the Foresters. 77 points. Lancers coming the other way.
And boom goes the dynamite.
Boom goes the dynamite. And a foul will be called just to stop the clock one more time.
12 seconds left. Don't know if it means all that much, but I mean.
Ball will be on the ground. Soon the Lancers will try to get another quick shot off, potentially
see if they
a
can
3.
Get that percentage up just a little bit before the end of this game.
Still the Hostetler looking to Sugg. Right side, puts the ball on the ground. Big screen from Veronica Drake inside to her. Reeker pulls down the ball, and she'll hold the ball to run out the clock. Buzzer sounding 77-53. The Lady Foresters coming off with Justin, probably their biggest win of the season, and again coming up against the number 13 in the Crossroads League.
Yeah, just what a game played by the Foresters. I said they needed to either slow down Grace or they needed to play up with Grace, and honestly, they did both. They shut them down and they scored a lot of points.
Well, the Foresters are doing a fantastic job this afternoon. We're going to have a quick post-game interview with Coach Kohler. You won't want to miss it, so we'll be back here in just a few minutes for more coverage here inside Platt Arena. Here with Coach Kohler here on FDN Sports. And now, Coach, a fantastic game. That first quarter was a big first quarter for you guys, and coming away with a 20-plus point win. What was your focus coming into this game against the third-ranked team in the league?
Well, I mean, you watch film on them, and you know they're short, but they're scrappy. And they're doing what they have to do with the lineup with the size players that they have. So, we just the last couple days spent a lot of time trying to shore up our press break, because that's been a struggle for us a little bit in previous games, and I thought we handled that very well today. They play a little bit of an unorthodox zone. They spread it out, and so we worked hard to find the gaps and seams, and I couldn't be more pleased with how we handled that today. We got a lot of easy looks inside.
Now, again, you guys definitely really did a lot better on that press than maybe the Taylor game, for example. Looking forward, right before that Christmas break, what are you guys looking to do to finish out the holiday season before we come back in January?
Well, it doesn't get any easier for us. Yeah. We play an NAI Division I team next Saturday, and then two teams in the Chicagoland. At least one's ranked. I don't know if the other is. So, you know, again, we just have to keep taking one game at a time and try to prepare well for that game and execute and see what happens.
Thanks, Coach. Again, congrats on a big win, and looking forward to the next broadcast. Now we're going to throw it to Justin Ayers, who's got some post-game stats for you. Justin, go on ahead and take it away.
So yeah, big game for the Forsters. Grace, they struggled a little bit. Their three-point shooting, not necessarily what it's been this whole entire season, but able to pull it together a little bit. But that 8% in the first half was what really ended up killing them later on in this game. Forsters did struggle a little with the press as the game went on, but all in all, able to pull out. It was definitely a much more tough game for the Forsters than the score does entail, but in the end, Forsters finds themselves with a win against the number 3 team, and then the Grace finds himself with a loss against a ranked team. For me, Justin Ayers, Bryce Snyder, and everybody here on the crew of FDN Sports, hope you all have a great day.